Hello everyone, this is Awkward Audrey and welcome to my art hour. So today I was a little bit hasty, I guess, in my planning. I didn't give as much forethought into this art hour as I had originally hoped. But you know what, that's okay. I just decided that what we're going to do is we're just going to follow up on our earlier. Hey Spencer, thank you for joining. Today we're going to be following up on a art hour from a couple weeks ago where I started the theme reflections and the pre-process of that art piece. And so now I guess what we're going to do is we're going to actually finish that art piece. It's going to be like the final, actually putting the ideas and some of the research that I've done onto a watercolor piece, and hopefully that will and seeing what the results are of that and how I work through that follow-up through of that process. So, hi. So what we're going to be working with today, I'm going to keep it simple right now because art supplies are kind of expensive. So we're using just very simple watercolor paints that I had picked up at the art store. Hi, Tony. Thank you for joining. I will be using some cheaper watercolors, and if I remember correctly, when I last used these, the blue was a little bit different, so I'm going to have to be careful with how I use blue. And what we'll be using is I'll be sketching out my drawing using just a mechanical pencil. Let's see, it says HB number 2, so number 2 pencil, and a kneaded eraser. And then I'll be using 3 simple brushes to get things going. A little fan brush, a round brush, if you can see that, and then a pointy brush for more details. That's what we're going to be working on. I'm going to turn this camera around and we'll bring you up to speed on what we did last time on the art hour regarding reflections. Okay. Ow, that was my elbow. Let's see. Okay. So I've got stuff actually put to portfolio now, so I actually have things worked out, right? So I can refer back to them. So these were the sketches that I did that last art hour. I did a line sketch just to kind of get the feel for it, and I did a color sketch to see what kind of colors I wanted to try out. Very simple tools, but just helped me work out some of the ideas of what I wanted to do with the figure in my piece, then the composition of this reflections piece. So things I'm going to be looking at when I go through this, I will be, and also in some of my research, I asked my friend Jason Bergen, some help because he is just super stellar at what he does. He does digital art, so he has tools available that I wouldn't have for traditional media, but he is able to help me with some of the composition of how to do perspective and how to make sure the eyeline worked, and most importantly, I think atmospheric perspective. So what we'll be doing here is we'll have a lot of the same elements in this piece, in the sketches that I'm going to put into my piece, but they're going to be slightly altered to match the research and the practice that I put in beforehand. So we're going to have a trail, we're going to have a figure of this woman walking through on the trail. Maybe it's a misty morning, and she's going to be looking out on the lake, kind of fiddling and just pondering life. What does she want? And in the background, that's going to be shown as a reflection. So there's going to be, we won't be able to see the sky that the lake is reflecting, but we're going to see the reflections on the lake surface. We're going to have some foliage around the lake's edge. We're going to have a trail that she's going to be walking on. We're going to have some things like a tree branch or tree in the forefront that will have more details, and then we can be a little bit more faded in the back with the details, smaller trees, and ultimately what I hope is different colors so we can kind of get into that autumn feel, that change of the seasons of what do I want and what is different, what do I want different going forward. And I feel like autumn's a really good season to contemplate that. So I'm going to set this over here where I can look at it. And reference it off screen, and we'll get started. I do realize, though, I don't have paper towels, but we'll get to the paper towels when we actually start watercoloring. Okay. So I think I want to do a little bit differently from the pieces I had before to the piece I'm working on now. Is I want to have it a little bit more symmetrical than what I had before. I do like asymmetry, but I think that if I were to have it just a little bit more symmetrical, that it would bring the piece together in a different way that would be more pleasing to look at. So I'm going to kind of guesstimate. It's not going to be a perfect symmetry, as y'all know. I like symmetry to have a purpose, and asymmetry to me makes a piece more interesting. So let's see, we're going to have, how we're going to do this. So we're going to have our figure kind of over here. I'm not going to draw them in just yet, just kind of put the pieces in here. I'm going to have a trail. I have the horizon line where, for those of you who don't know, the horizon line is where, as things get farther away, that is the line that they essentially disappear to. So the closer things are, the bigger they are. The farther away they are, the smaller they are. If you were to draw the same object up close and far away, and then they would disappear into the horizon line. I think we're going to have it pretty much as close to the top as possible without it being too... My brain today. My brain. Without it having be too close to the top, so I couldn't get those details in there. Let's see. So I think what we're going to have here, we want a tree. I like the idea of a tree kind of looming over her, kind of like an archway towards the lake. And then, let's see. What we're going to do here, I think we're going to bring this down this trail lake side a little bit further down, and we'll have some room for trees right here, like that. Is that more symmetrical? I want it to look a little more symmetrical. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a something right here that defines the middle, and then we're going to have it kind of look symmetrical in the background, and then everything in the forefront will be less symmetrical. I don't know why. I don't know if that's going to work, but that sounds like a plan to me. I think that sounds interesting, and I want to try it. Let's take a look. I couldn't find my regular mechanical pencil. I swear I was using it like just a half hour ago, and then I put it down and I cannot find it anywhere. So I had to find a different mechanical pencil. So this one's a little bit different. How is everybody's weekend going? So far, it looks like just Spencer here. But Spencer, how is your weekend going? Have you been working on any art projects recently? I would like to know. Let's see. So when I'm drawing this figure, I am having a few thoughts. I want her to look contemplative, and it's sometimes really hard to portray that well while your figure is in motion. So I think I actually want her kind of standing at the lake's edge. Hey, Jason, thank you for joining. So I think I kind of want her actually standing on the lake's, closer to the lake's edge. We're working on that reflections piece you helped me out with. Your advice was great. I can't wait to actually put that into practice. So when somebody is more contemplative, they're kind of looking forward and maybe a little bit down, unless they also it seems like a very introspective pose, right? The shoulders are kind of hunched. Let's see, maybe hips a little bit forward, feet together. Maybe not feet together, maybe just kind of standing like that. I have this hand in a pocket. And I think her head's a little too high. There you go. It's a little too big, a little too high. There you go. How have things been going for you, Jason? How's your weekend? Hey, Terry, thank you for joining. Currently, we are going back to the topic from a few weeks ago, reflections, and we're going to finish that piece. Excellent. That is how weekends should go. Just hang on. We're going to put this in a little bit closer so you can see the details I'm doing. We'll do a ponytail. Okay. Maybe some bangs, a little disheveled look. Like that. Maybe her hand. What is she doing? She's doing again. I kind of like her to be fidgety. I think I want her sleeves rolled up. Have you been doing any other rock art, Terry? I think I just want this to be a stick that she found that she's playing with. Okay. I think generally speaking, that will work just fine for now. Let's get to the other parts of the piece. Oh, that'll be so fun. The Sunday school kids are gonna love that. Right now I'm kind of guessing, what do I want this trail to look like here? I think I want this tree to be behind her on this trail. So I drew a line here that's kind of on par with where her feet are. Right? I think I want it a little bit further back, so it shows that it's behind her on this trail. Like that. Okay, and now let's see. If for those of you who weren't here earlier, I was kind of deciding what I wanted to do with the forefront of my picture versus the background of my picture. And I wanted a little more symmetry than I had in my previous pictures. So, but I didn't want the picture to be completely symmetrical. So what I'm doing is I'm having the forefront be the asymmetrical part where there is a figure and this blank lake with hopefully some cloud details on it. And then I've decided that in the, hey mom, thanks for joining. I decided that in the background that's where I want my symmetry to be, right? I just thought it'd be, I don't know if it's going to work out, but that's part of the experiment, right? Is that I want there to be a little bit of symmetry in a thing called reflections, right? I didn't want the symmetry to be the sky and the lake. I wanted it to be something different. So I decided that the trees in the background are going to be symmetrical and in shape, maybe not in color, and then the forefront's going to be asymmetrical, where this figure looking out on this lake, and then there's going to be cloud details on the lake. That from our perspective, that's what she is looking at. She's contemplating her existence. Don't know what she could be thinking about what is happening for dinner. I'm hoping spaghetti for this evening. But for her, it could be like, what does she want for a job? The relationships that are important to her and how those are going. The uh, just general life questions and existence of God, things like that. Very big questions or very small questions. All are available when you're reflecting on life. And this is a great place to do that, to let your thoughts kind of fall out. So I think here I'm going to have a very symmetrical tree or something, and then I'm going to have symmetrical trees in the back, kind of like a book. Focus. Okay. And for those of you who don't know, I started a new job this week. It's very exciting. I am working at a place here in Denver that helps supply the homeless population with clothes and hygiene items. But that did take away a little bit of my time from planning this out. So I unfortunately did not plan ahead as much as I normally would have. But I think that that's okay. I think it's worth it. The job is, the first day was kind of crazy. But overall, there's a lot of things I like about the job. Let's see. So for this tree here, what kind of tree do I want it to be? I am an evergreen. I'm from the Evergreen State, Washington State. So part of me wants to do that, but I also really just like the idea of like a very leafy tree going through change. So I think I'm going to have it look more like that, kind of like a fan. Thanks, Terry. Now, one of the problems with doing something like this is that that I'm going to have to kind of watch for as I'm composing this piece is it's very good to have a very clear focal point of your piece. And right now, if I put this tree here in the symmetrical background, is going to be competing with our figure over here. Thanks, Jason. Yeah, it's a different type of job than I'm used to working in. In several ways, I'm grateful for that. It's not a corporate job where I sit at a desk all day, right? Where I'm just like a cog in the machine. But obviously, being different means I have to adjust. So what I might do here then, in order to mitigate the competition between these two figures, will be detail and color. That will help me set apart what should and shouldn't be the focal point. And I think I want her to be the focal point because that is what this piece is all about. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have details here, lots of details in this area of the page that draw you in, you want to look at, you want to figure out what's going on, and then have this be in the background and have it be kind of serene, and the colors won't be so vibrant, the details won't be so detailed. What's another way to put that? Details won't be so, they'll be more faded, the colors will be more faded, muted, and I think that will be an interesting way to look at it. So it's going to go from detail here, then you're going to be drawn to here, and then you won't look out over the rest of this piece. We'll see how it goes. defined. Details, yeah, there we go. I like that. It'll be less definition. See, there we go. That's why we keep moms around. They still teach us new things. Use your words, Audrey. Use your words. And since this piece is going to be reflecting here, we'll have this tree kind of reach down here, and that's where it's going to show in the lake. I think would be good. Tree right there, like that. Now I kind of like how this is taking shape because it's kind of like she's in a little bit of a cocoon. Okay. Oh, guys, I'm so nervous about this because at this point, most of this is going to be watercolor, right? Oh man. And I really like my lines. I'm an illustrator before painter, right? When it comes to illustrating, I can do as many details as I want. The composition's great. With acrylic paint, it's more abstract, but I can still have that definition. But with watercolor, it's more tricky. So you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to actually not paint on this one. I'll do a practice run on a completely different piece of paper. And hope for the best. All right. Don't know if this is the best idea, but I think that's what I want. We're going to try it. Okay. I'll use my cheapo paints here and get started. And I have my reference up here on how I want this to be composed. It's going to be out of sight, but it's going to be there. So let's start with, oh my goodness. Getting a backwash, I think, would be a good start. So. This is not how you're supposed to use this brush, is it? It's not. Okay, we're going to use this brush instead. As you can see, the paper is already starting to bend slightly from the water. That's okay. This is the experiment paper. I'm going to be testing out the different colors on this. Let's see. Let's get some blue on here. Oh man, it's been a little while since I've done watercolor. Maybe I should have done acrylic paint. If I don't like this, I can just attempt it with acrylic paint on a canvas. But I'm getting the paper prepped here. When the paper is prepped, watercolor will move more smoothly across it. With wet on wet as the technique. I am so glad to have my voice back, guys. This is really great. Like I can still kind of hear it's different, that my voice is different, but for the most part it is back and I am back in action. I'm so pleased. Okay. Let's see. Let's kind of start with the lake. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of pushing the blue around. Oh, that's a lot of blue. Oh, but I like it when it blends in like that. Oh. I'm kind of going to get a feel for what textures I want. Just so we're clear, this is not the final piece. This is me experimenting with the watercolor. Because I am new to watercolor. I still feel like, I think it's going to be years before I really feel comfortable with watercolor. But before I actually put this on the piece that I'm really working on, I'm going to put the watercolor where the lake is, and then kind of experiment with different techniques. So right now I'm kind of doing circles and squiggles with my paintbrush. But ultimately I want it to look like clouds on a rippling, maybe a rippling lake. Doesn't look very cloud-like right now. I think it needs a little more blue. Oh, now I'm kind of doing a dotting technique. And I'm kind of just feeling out, like, what kind of cloud shapes do I want? And I think what I want is I'm going to get a clean paper towel, and I might start dabbing. Dab, 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 dab. Okay. So I think I'm going to practice here. I'm going to make this really blue right here. And then I'm going to dab. Let's see. What kind of effect has to have? This is textured. Oh man, this is textured paper towels. And that texture is showing on here. Let's see if I can get the light better. Can you see that better? Blinded by the light. I really do like that contrast though, so I think we're going to continue that over here. I'm not used to doing cloud reflections. I'm used to looking at clouds, like as clouds. So maybe I should do this differently. Rotate it. Yeah, all right. You know what? That's a better idea. Thank you all for joining me on as Audrey figures out what the heck she wants to do with her paintings. But I think when I go to do the lake, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start painting the lake upside down so that I can get that reflection of the clouds. Let's see. So when oh, there's a Brenda joining us. Hi Brenda, thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm currently pondering how to go about painting clouds on the lake, on a lake surface. It's a little trickier than you might think. Because clouds are not exactly uniform. We all know what clouds look like, but I have looked at pictures of clouds and tried to recreate them, and they just somehow, even though they might technically look the same, they look really bizarre. Like, I would not imagine clouds to act the way that they do sometimes. That's where research is really important, guys. So let's see. So when looking at the reflections, the surface reflection. Oh, Brenda and I have known each other since England? Yes, way back in the day. That's a long time. That's as old as your oldest daughter. Ah, that's so cool. Let's see. Oh, and this is a question. I think I'm going to take a look really quickly. And you can join me. Ta-da. We're going to go over to my computer really quickly and take a look. 1 second. Can't see me typing in my password. That's good. All right. Here we go. Let's take a look. Fortunately, neither Brenda or I age. I don't think that's how that works, Mom. Let's do lake reflections. Oh, can you see that? Lake reflection. No, I want that in my Google search. No. I mean, it's kind of the same, but I want it in my Google search. Here we go. Lake reflections. Why is it up there? Oh, well. I guess it's just going to be up here. Lake reflections, clouds. Let's take a look here what we have. Images. Let's see what I'm looking for. One is just to see what this looks like, right? Like, let's take a look. Like, that's super beautiful, right? But you can see here, because of how the current works, the reflection isn't as crisp or clean. But one of the questions I really want to look at is, at what point does the lake have super defined reflections versus very very fuzzy reflections? And it looks like here there's a lot of definition, but as it gets closer to the coastline here, it looks like it gets fuzzier, and you can see that there's some current happening here, so it definitely gets fuzzier. So I think that when I go to draw on my or to paint on my actual painting, that the like if you imagine that figure standing right here, she's looking at the lake, that she's going to be defined. The area right here is going to be defined. The area that's on the far end of the lake will be less defined. Let's take a look at other pictures and see what comes up. Is that true? Does that hold? Does that hold water? Nope, we're going to block that. Let's see. It's kind of hard to tell on this one. Oh, so pretty. Okay. So I think, generally speaking, this is obviously not going to be true all the time. But when I go to paint this, the area that's going to be closest to our figure, closest to the foreground in this picture, is going to be a little more detailed, and the clouds are going to be more fuzzy in the back. Same with the reflection of the water in the back. I don't know if that's how it should be, but I think based on these like two or three pictures that I looked at, that is close enough to reality. And you know what? I think part of that makes sense because let's see, like you can see in this one, like the more farther back the line is, the more like details have to be taken into account for come on, come on, for like more ground is covered, right? So like a foot closer here is going to look different than a foot back there, and it's going to look fuzzier. I think that makes sense to me. I'm hoping that it works. I'm hoping that that is how it works in reality. Okay, there we go. Oh, yep. Ta-da! Other pieces of work, artwork all around here. All part of the show, guys. All part of the process. So, if this is how the picture's supposed to be, then this cloud, like if I have my figure here, upright, looking across the lake, this cloud should be more defined. This cloud should be less defined, but maybe the trees on the coastline will be more defined. Sound. I like that. Thank you, Jason. All right, so with that in mind, let's see what we can do with this practice piece here to help me get over my nerves for actually painting on my real piece. How much time has passed anyway? Oh my goodness. It's been almost an hour, guys. It's been 45 minutes. See, it's really difficult to gauge time when you're doing art. Okay, so we're going to make this a little more fuzzy. And we're going to try to actually make it look more like the bottom of a cloud, because that's ultimately what's being reflected back, right? We're not going to be looking at the top of the clouds on a lake. They're going to be the bottoms of clouds. So let's add some more definition to this cloud. Ah, that's great. Let's just move that around. Oh no, we want the bottoms to be like this. Oh my goodness. Okay, so more definition here. And then the bottom of the cloud. There is no time when doing art. Stitch that on a pillow, Terry. That sounds great. I like it. So we're going to do here to see if this works. I'm getting some water on my paper towel here, and we're going to try and lift up some of this paint from over here. I think I'm overworking this area a little bit, so the paper might not be as receptive as if it was a clean piece of paper. Okay, I picked up some of the pigment. Okay. We want the top of this cloud to look bright, so I'm going to pick up some of this pigment too. Okay, so I'm going to make some notes here. On what I'm doing, because I have a feeling by the time I actually get to practicing all the details here, I'm going to forget. All right, so clouds, lake reflection. Let's see, we're going to turn paper upside down. Let's see, we'll have two, I think we'll have two clouds, just so I know how to name them. Let's see, clouds. We'll have the foreground cloud. Defined. See, there you go, Mom. Defined, vibrant color. Oh, paint normal. Paint normally. Not upside down clouds. Right side up clouds, because the paper is upside down. Vibrant color. And then the background cloud. Cloud. Fuzzy. Muted colors. Colors. All right. Okay. And that's how it's going to be, because right now, I don't think I can work on this piece of paper or in this area while it's wet right now. So I have to kind of set aside working on the lake and the clouds. We're going to set it aside, or we're gonna just stop working on it. We're going to work on the other pieces of the picture. So let's turn this right side up. And I think maybe when I go back, I'll put some lines back here to show more reflection, like more waves or reflections coming off of the lake side. Okay, so now let's practice with cleaner brush, different color. Let's get some brown going. Let's see. Do we want brown? You know what? No. Anything can turn brown. We can make any color brown or muddy color. Let's not start with brown. Let's start with green. So, lakeside. So it kind of starts here. And trail. I'm eyeballing it, guys. Like that. Let's see. Okay. There we go. Kind of the edge here. Maybe when I go to do this, I'll go in with my more detailed brush. Okay. Let's practice the trees. More muted colors, remember. This is going to be more muted than the green that's going to be up front here. I hope. Sometimes it's really hard. I love color. I love color. It's going to be a little bit hard to do that. You can have a whole bunch of different textures, right? Like, so here we could have like that smooth, or we could have like the wiggly here. I think I'm gonna do wiggly with like a dotting on top. And that will make it textured, but not super textured. Okay. So now, let's see. Is that what I want though? No, I want different shades of color. Different colors in general. So, oh, pick up some of this green here on the top. Oh, there we go. Be gentle with the paper, but this seems to be washing off quite nicely. It's having a nice faded effect. Haha! I like it. You guys see that? Oh, snap. That looks so smooth and soft. I like it. Okay, so it's time for some more colors then. Let's start with yellow. What do you think? What do we think here? Little splotches of yellow around. And then some orange. Ooh, yeah. Let's get a closer look at this. Let's do that again over here. Ooh, that gets me every time. It's so fun. Maybe not how I'm going to do it at the end, but it's so fun. Let's get some green in there. Oh, that went like right. That immediately turned it completely dark. Let's move that out a little bit. Okay. All right, so got some soft textures going on back here. But we need to make room for that middle tree, that symmetrical tree. It's going to be at the center of the piece. Where would that be? It's going to be like right about here. Okay. There we go. Let's see. How do I want to go about doing this? I'm going to use my tiny brush, I think. I'm going to go with green. Faint green. So we have some detail, but it's not like super obvious detail. I'm going to practice. It kind of looks like a mushroom, right? Mushroom tree. But we're going to be adding like some texture to it. There you go. All right. So in order for this to be symmetrical, this side and should reflect that side on the tree line. So let's do that. Let's do that, what we did earlier. Trees do look like broccoli. That is true. That is true. It's hard to escape it. Okay. Liking this effect. Thank you, Jason. It's all part of the show. I have no idea what's going on, but I'm enjoying this process. And I'm enjoying you guys here with me. It really is so much better sometimes to have people with you when you're doing art. Like I was trying to do art the other day and I was like, Sam, don't talk to me because I was in such a foul mood. So sometimes obviously that doesn't work, but yeah. If we're all here for the purpose of experiencing art together, I think it's really fun. Okay. Let's see. So right there. Make this wet. Over here, we're gonna make a big wet spot. gonna put yellow first because that's what we did over here. Oh, ignore that. And then, hey Liz, thank you for joining. And then what we're gonna do here, put some orange, have it seep in. Gonna have the same shape, like that, and see how it goes. Oh, it's getting too into it. There we go. And then final piece over here. There is orange and then green added on top of that. Too much, a little too much. We're going to put some water to dilute it a little bit. There we go. All right. So this is how the cactus piece is going over. Oh, I don't think you guys got to see that last little bit. I was just painting off screen. I'm sorry about that. So I think so far, so we've done the lake reflection of the clouds there, general background trees, and then we're going to do our foreground with our figure in her little archway and cocoon area. Let's practice that trail. We're going to do light brown, I think. Let's see. Just to define it, because I need something to work with, right? I can't always eyeball things like I want. Okay. More definition. Okay, kind of like that. Because trails are not uniform by any means, but we still need to be able to see that this is closer and that is farther away. So we want it to be not uniform, but we want to be able to tell distance, right? There is a trail disappearing off into the distance. So we need it to be somewhat uniform, but not too uniform in size and behavior. Okay. Whew. I kind of like that. That was fun to do. Okay. Now for the tree. Let's do the tree. Can you tell I'm anxious about doing the figure because I'm doing her last? All right. So we wanted the tree to be a little bit farther back from the figure, and we want the figure to kind of be right here. So the tree's going to be back here. Oh, it's going to bleed a little bit. That's fine. The pigment's going to bleed a little bit into the wet trail. That's fine. Let's see. Okay. This tree doesn't look quite right. I think it's because you can't quite see the tree off here. You know, like I want to be like, how thick is this tree? I want to like do details on the bark. I want to put leaves on it, and it's kind of difficult because this looks a little bit naked, looks a little bit wrong. I'm not sure how to fix that. I think maybe more branches so you can get some perspective on this. Maybe have like a knot right here where a branch was once. Like that. Ooh, I like that. Gives it some interesting texture. There we go. Hey Shannon, thank you for joining. So I think I could work with that on the actual piece. I do feel like somehow this is too low, so I think I'm gonna do it like that instead. A little closer. There we go. Okay. Somehow that looks better to me. And now, kind of, let's blur out this right here. Like that. Okay. Now, let's see. For the actual figure. Oof, oh my goodness, guys. This makes me so nervous. Because there's always a lot to figure out with the figure. Figure out with the figure. Guys, my vocabulary today is so minimal. Oh my goodness. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Okay. Let's take a look. How do I want to do this? So let's do a faint color of what she will be wearing. And maybe having it be a different color. Maybe we need like a purple or a red, because we haven't used purple or red yet in this piece. And that could make her stand out a little even more with with those kinds of details. I think yes, let's do red because another reason. Let's do a light red. It's kind of a pink. Just to get her figure slightly figured out here. Put on here without too much detail. I think another reason why I would choose red is because just slightly further symbolism of this is where the colors of the season are headed. They're headed towards red. They're headed towards brown before it gets into wintertime. Let's take a look here. Is this dry? Yeah, that's dry. Oh, do you ever sketch super lightly on the watercolor? Generally not, because I'd have to wait for it to dry completely in order for me to do that. And if I put pencil a pencil onto the wet paper, it might snag the paper. And even if I did put pencil, even if it was dry, if I went to go and erase it, I may pick up some of the pigment as well, like the paint that I already put on there. Those would be a couple of my concerns, and that's just me saying, like, I would be cautious if doing that. Not saying it's not a good technique to use, but those would be my concerns. But it's a good question. Why not use pencil when you use pencil for just about everything else when you're sketching? And then we'll do the stick. Oop. Kind of branch off there. Sticky stick. Okay. Okay, so I kind of have her figured out a little bit. But I don't like that I have to compete with all the paint that's already on there. So, something I will do, okay, something to make note of. Oh my goodness, guys, this is taking a long time. This is what happens when I don't take the time to pre-plan an art hour. This doesn't go as quickly. I can't just fast forward it for you guys and you have a finished product at the end. Let's see. So let's do some, I think, some green leaves here. Some big, some small details, right? The details here are going to bring our attention to this area of the page. And we'll have some foliage right here. Ooh, I like that. Oh, did you guys see that? Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's fun. That looks really fun. Oh my goodness, guys. Ah, all right. Smaller. Smaller over here. Fading away. Bushes over here. Going crazy at the wildlife. All right. How are we doing? Oh, we have 7 people watching. That's exciting. Okay. So yet again, this is going to take probably another video because we're almost at the end of this art hour. So I'm going to finish my notes and then we'll do a recap. Okay. So lake reflection, let's see. Background trees. Let's take a look. Hi, Sam. Thanks for joining. He's over here in the other room. That's funny. Okay, so we're gonna just move. Let's see. We're gonna close this. We're done painting. I'm gonna close this so it doesn't accidentally paint anything else. So as a recap, so when I first started, I did the lake reflection, and learned that we want to turn the paper upside down and paint the clouds as you normally would. Ignore the fact that the painting is upside down and just paint them as you normally would, but with this forefront cloud here, that would be more detailed, and this background cloud here would be more fuzzy. That was what we came up here with here. Once that's done, you turn the paper right side up and work on the background and working on the background trees. I think, let's see. What did you guys think of the symmetry in the background? You can't quite see because of this here. So maybe what I want to do in order for it to be more symmetrical feel is not have it be at the center of the paper, but be at the center of this area, right? So let's take a look. So maybe center tree. Center tree, slightly to the left. I can spell slightly to the left. We'll have it be like a broccoli tree. Broccoli tree. And I think what we didn't do here, but have it lightly yellow at the top. I think I want that. Let's see. Then we'll have the colors and textures reflect from the center tree. So like have this one had orange on both sides, and there was green, and then there was orange, and then there was yellow. We'll do that. So we'll have it'll be a reflection of off of that center tree using colors and textures. Okay, trail. Nope. Any other notes? If you guys have any other notes that you think I should know about these background trees, please let me know. I am interested. Otherwise, I'm going to ponder more and I'm going to put more thought. And if you guys already see something that I might want to do, I'd really appreciate it because I don't have to think so hard. That makes sense. Taking the time to figure out what you want to do can be pretty exhausting sometimes. Before I forget, Randy told me how impressed she was. Oh, thanks. That is so awesome. That's such a kind thing for Randy to say. Thank you for sharing that with me, Shannon. She is welcome to watch this with us, and I personally think that just because you might not be an artiste doesn't mean you can't do art. And I like doing art with people. So I'd really like Randy to join us, and maybe you all to join us and try and do this piece with me next time. That'd be really fun. All right, so background trees, we've got that figured out. Now we'll do the trail notes. Background trees, trail. Let's see. Now, to me, it kind of felt like a calligraphy, like I was using a calligraphy brush a little bit for that background. It's just so nice. Same with these front ones here. Very nice. I really enjoyed it. So thin line around background. Lake edge. Okay, edge. And then, let's see. Top right. Thicker and more squiggly. Oh, how often does one get to write out the word squiggly? Not enough, in my opinion. Oh, she's a stained glass artist? You know what? I feel like I did know that. I feel like that was mentioned at one point. But I do have terrible memory. Thank you for reminding me, Shannon. Okay, so let's see how to do the trail, the foreground trail. I think in order to do this composition piece correctly for this foreground trail, I should not paint it first. This is mostly just me figuring stuff out for the final painting. I got nervous and I didn't want to paint my actual painting. And I'm really happy I did because there's still some steps I need to figure out. So think, don't paint around figure yet! Exclamation point. Stained, not strained. Yes. Strained glass would be interesting, though. I don't know how. I want to see what strained glass is. Okay. I think we'll leave it at that. We're kind of going in steps here. So now we're going to do the tree. You know what? We'll call this the arching tree. Not Archie, like Archie Comics, arching. And let's see. We'll have the knot at base. We'll have a single branch reaching out over the lake. We'll have it reflecting on the lake. And we'll be able to see like the bottom of the branch. So it's not going to be perfectly symmetrical. And then let's see. And then detailed leaves. And I'm going to do a little more research on what those leaves would look like. Okay. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for now. If I can get all that set up and figured out, I'm going to be really comfortable for when I go to draw my figure. I feel like I have enough space to make mistakes without ruining my painting. I will be able to put in as much or as little detail as I want in my figure, and the rest of the piece will support that figure and what she is doing. And once I get her figured out, oh, you know what? Before I forget though, the figure will be in red, wearing red, maybe a redhead. There we go. Wearing red, maybe redhead. There we go. And I think if I can do all these, when I go to do with the figure, she will, I'll have the space and the confidence to be able to work with her. And if I make mistakes, I'll be able to correct them with minimal damage to the rest of the piece. And when I finish this figure, I'll be able to take a step back, look at the rest of the piece, and make any minor final adjustments from there so that everything seems more cohesive. Yeah, I think that's it. That's what we got for today. Ta-ta! All right. All right, thank you so much for joining me. This was fun. Do you guys have any last minute thoughts or questions? Let's see, we have 2 more minutes until the art hour is over. I think I've gone over all my thought processes. Did you guys see anything that you have any thoughts that you wanted to share? My favorite color. What? No, green's my favorite color, Shannon. Green's my favorite color. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Mom. I got my frizzes going on. It's a little humid right now because I'm kind of sweating. I have to turn off the air conditioner when I do my art hour so it's not like background noise. But yeah, I haven't worn this shirt in a while. You might recognize this necklace actually because this used to be your necklace, Mom. Yeah, did anybody have any thoughts? Like, do you guys want to try this piece with me next time? Like, I think that'd be super fun. Oh, yes, but you and I will need to talk about that afterwards. You and me, Shannon. Paris. Um, so yeah, it'd be really cool if you guys joined me next time to try this out. I would love to see what you guys would come up with. I had a couple people share with me after that last art hour. Terry, looking at you, um, what they had drawn after my art hour, and I thought, "Oh, that'd be so great to see what other people came up with for this type of picture." Now, I put a lot of thought into how I was going to compose this picture, and so you get the benefit of that, right? So you just have to kind of draw it, and as I draw it, and you'll get those same elements in there. But every piece is going to look different, right? I think it would be awesome to see what you guys do here. So I would, yes, Terry, mom, yes, excellent. Um, I'd love that. I would love that. And then also, I have never done it before here, and I really do want to try. Is when I go and I click on the people who are watching, I can see I can add, I can show them on my video. I haven't ever tried it before. I would probably have to practice, but I think it would be fun to see real time what your pictures look like and what your paintings look like. All right. With that in mind, I think we're good to go. Next week, haha, oh, before I forget though, next week it's time for our monthly sketch raffle. So do not forget to go to the event and put in your sketch ideas or requests, and I will have them ready for you next Sunday. Next Sunday, I will be sketching what you request, and at the very end of that, there will be a raffle winner, and they will win the sketch of their choice. It'll be glorious. I don't know, my voice started going bog hag again. Maybe I just have this bog hag inside my soul that needs to be let out. Yeah, all right. I think that's a sign that I should stop. We should stop this art hour and just enjoy the rest of the week. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you all next time. Bye.